What do you remember feeling traveling from city to city watching your dad wrestle?
I remember feeling excitement. I was proud. I was like, I was a little bit like, that's my dad. Yes.
That feeling of excitement that you felt when you were a little girl watching your dad in front of crowds, does that excitement still carry with you when you now step on stage under the lights in front of the crowds?
Yes, yes. And I think that's part of the nerves as well, is because it's like an excitement of you just never know. And you never know how the crowd's gonna react either. That's another thing, is that you're just like you're going out there to really work for them and you want to give them the best possible show as always. So if what you thought was gonna work doesn't work, then you have to change that.
If you go on the official WWE website and you look up your bio page, I'm not sure if you've done that recently. There's a line to describe you that says, your back muscles are so wide, you could screen a movie on them. So, my question for you, Raquel, if you were to screen any movie on your back muscles, what movie would that be?
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
Yes. I feel like it's the perfect genre of movie to describe me and my personality. And why not have Jack Black on your back? That's cool. Jack Black in spandex, even cooler.
At what age did you realize wrestling was a viable career, not only in general, but for you?
Honestly, it was when I was probably a teenager. It was I think I was like 16 when I realized that this was like an actual career that I could, make a living off of and start building a life from and whatnot.
You were a basketball player in college, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you pursue basketball?
I always wanted to be a wrestler. My dad was a wrestler. I wanted to do it since I was a little girl. And when I graduated, I thought about pursuing because a few of my teammates went and played overseas. I got contacted from an agent to play for like a D League or whatnot. But I had my heart set on wrestling. So I was just ready to change it up, I guess.
When you were playing basketball, did your dad encourage you to pursue basketball? Was there any pushback on his part when you said, no, I want to do wrestling?
100%, yes. My dad, when we were younger, he would travel a lot for wrestling, so we would go with him. It was like our family weekend trips. And we would drive 2 to 4 hours wherever his booking was for the day. And it was so much fun because I got to watch him perform and I got to watch him work out and wrestle in the ring as well. We would go with him whenever he had trainings. And when I told him I wanted to wrestle, he was like, it was a different time back then for women as well. So I completely understand where he was coming from.
Your name is Victoria Gonzalez,
Yes.
but your professional name is now Raquel Rodriguez. Why
Yes.
the evolution from your given name to now your professional stage name?
I think that has a lot to do with just like logistics and WWE having ownership of the image of Raquel Rodriguez and the name of Raquel Rodriguez. So that's really on a decision that they've made. If it was up to, I mean, if you go back to my NXT career, I had the name Reina. I had the name Raquel Gonzalez with my last name. And then now we're on Raquel Rodriguez, which is totally fine because my biggest concern was keeping my Hispanic heritage strong and representation strong. And so as long as I have a very strong Hispanic last name, I think that really tells the people of who I am and what I'm doing here. And it puts together the whole package. So I'm not too mad about it. A name, it's just a name.
You go on stage, you're representing women, you're representing the Hispanic community. Do you feel any sort of pressure? What does that mean to you?
Oh, definitely. I definitely feel pressure because I know that I'm not from South America. I was born in Texas, but I was raised right on the border. So I was going to Mexico every weekend with my grandparents. My grandfather is from Monterrey, Mexico. So I have a deep connection. And even the valley where I'm from is its own Mexican culture on its own. The food, the people, the atmosphere, the things that we do down there, our hobbies, our activities, everything is just our culture is so strong. And I think that's where the pressure comes in, is because I want to be the best representation possible for not just little girls, but also Hispanic girls that feel cornered or boxed into a specific stereotype. I want them to know that they are not nailed to that stereotype. They are able to tell their parents, I have a dream and I'm going to work for that. And I'm going to bust out of this stereotype and I'm going to go and become what I want to become. And so I think that that's very important for not just us in America to know, but girls around the world to know. And I think that's another thing WWE is really doing a great job with the women's division is they're bringing in these women from different countries and cultures, and we're so diverse, and everyone is different, and they look different, and they speak different languages. It's just really, really cool to see all of them come together and just collide and work together and just perform. It's awesome to be a part of. I've made so many friends from around the world. I feel like
It's obviously a very taxing sport, wrestling on the body, and very demanding, and it just looks incredibly painful. How do you stay in shape throughout the year?
stretching. No, diet is very important. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we put into our bodies really has an effect on the longevity of how we can perform, because some nights we're wrestling 4 to 5 nights a week, and it is very hard on the body. The traveling part of the sitting position in a car or on an airplane is even worse, I feel like. So definitely the diet, I would say being consistent with workouts, stretching is a huge, huge thing for us. And it's not about how much weight we're lifting anymore. I know in college it was always like, hey, let's find your PR. Hey, can you do this? Here it's more about staying healthy and staying strong. You want your muscles to be strong for your joints, to protect your knees, to protect your shoulders, your elbows, everything that's easily, if it's easily jolted, it can just like pop out of place. You want to have all of that. So I think as long as you have a good regimen and you stay on top of yourself, I try really hard to fit in workouts every day, even if it's just super small and quick, just to stay healthy and just to get moving, my body moving, especially because if I sit for too long, I get so stiff. It is difficult on the body, but you kind of learn to find what works for you in a sense.
You've now been doing this for a number of years. What continues to motivate you? What continues to excite you?
Honestly, the crowds do, the audience, 100%. Every time, like I said, every time I go out there, it's just, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what to expect, but they are always amazing. It's just so much energy out there when you're in the center of that ring and the lights are hitting you and they're cheering or they're booing or they're yelling. It's just so much energy that you're just feeding off of, and you just feel it and you just want to give it all back in a really cool and exciting way. And I can't describe the feeling of performing. I know any artist has their own feelings for it too, but it's really of being out there and being in front of the people, which it was difficult to feel that during COVID. So performing in front of 0 people, that's a whole nother story.
What was that experience like, performing in front of 0 people?
It was very quiet. It was very quiet. Yeah, it was difficult, but in my mind, I just kept telling myself they're watching at home, they're yelling at home, they're cheering at home. And right now, even though I can't feel their energy, I still need to give them every single ounce of energy I have, because it was a really hard time, I know, for everyone. So we were just trying to provide some kind of outlet for people who are stuck at home or who are sick or anything. So it was really just pushing yourself at that time to go out there and give 120% as much as you can and to your very, very best.
So if there is a little girl out there who looks at Raquel on TV and says, I really want to do that, but I don't think I can, what would you say to her?
I'd say you can. You 100% can. And I know it's typical of people to say, I come from a very small town and nobody gets out of that town. It's everywhere. It really is. But in the end, it is all worth it. It's really up to how bad you want it and how much you're willing to sacrifice. But you can do it. You 100% can.